Every man thinks he understands the women he desires, until he meets one he can't read. She smiles, but means something else. She says it's fine, but pulls away. And suddenly, you're guessing, reacting, chasing. But what if, instead of trying to understand what she says, you learned how to read what she hides? That's what this video gives you, a Machiavellian tactics. To read any woman instantly, not based on assumptions, not based on charm, but based on real-world strategy and emotional leverage. Because Machiavelli didn't teach men to please. He taught them to observe, to study behavior, predict intentions, and act from power. And once you know how to read a woman's signals, you no longer follow her mood. You lead the interaction, and you start winning with the ones you want. So watch closely. Because by the end of this video, you'll have the tools to stop guessing and start moving like a man who sees everything and reveals nothing. Sometimes, the smartest move is to say nothing and let her reveal everything. That's how you master the first Machiavellian tactic. Observe what she does with silence. Picture this. You're on a date. You ask a question, and then you say nothing. You don't nod. You don't smile. You just watch her, still, calm, unshaken. Most men rush to fill that silence. They fear it. But the silence, that's where the truth hides. A woman's real personality doesn't show when she's answering your questions. It shows when she's uncertain about how you feel. That's when her habits emerge. Does she overtalk? Does she get defensive? Does she try to charm you harder? Or does she simply stay present, grounded, and at ease in your energy? Silence is pressure, and pressure reveals character. That's why Machiavelli warned, men should be either caressed or crushed. Your silence does both, gently caressing her mind with attention, and silently crushing her illusion of control. If she can't handle a quiet moment, she's not grounded. If she needs your constant validation to feel safe, she will always be reactive. Machiavelli would say, don't react, observe. Use silence not as a lack of power, but as proof of it. Because the man who can remain silent controls the rhythm of the game. Here's your strategy. Next time you're with a woman, ask her a question that matters. Then say absolutely nothing. Don't even blink. Let her speak into the silence. Her reaction will tell you exactly who she is. But silence isn't the only reveal. What comes after the silence tells you even more. This is where you forget what she says and focus on how long she takes to say it. That's the second tactic. Notice the delay, not the words. Imagine this. You ask her something simple. What are you looking for right now? And instead of answering immediately, she hesitates. Most men focus on what she says, not when she says it. But time reveals truth. If she takes too long, it often means she's filtering, calculating, maybe even deceiving. Genuine answers don't need editing. When a woman pauses too long, she's not searching for the truth. She's searching for the right image, the version of herself she thinks you want. That's not authenticity. That's manipulation dressed as femininity. A Machiavellian man notices everything: the delay, the fidgeting, the glance away, the nervous laugh. He knows that hesitation is a confession in disguise. Machiavelli would say, everyone sees what you appear to be, few experience what you really are. The timing of her answer tells you which side she wants you to see and which one she's hiding. Here's your next move. Start paying attention not just to her words, but to the delay before them. If her answers are instant and natural, she's likely being real. But if she hesitates, you've just touched a sensitive truth. Now let's see what happens when you throw off her balance with just one unexpected compliment. The third tactic is simple but powerful. Disrupt her self-image and watch her response. For example, tell her, "There's something dangerous about the way you smile, like you've gotten away with a lot." Then watch her face. Stillness or discomfort, poise or panic. This kind of compliment does something specific. It bypasses her surface and strikes the unconscious. You're not commenting on her looks. You're commenting on her patterns, her aura, her secrets. Most women are used to flattery. It's currency. But when you say something strange, something that sounds like you've seen her, it shakes her frame. She starts wondering, what does he see in me that others don't? Machiavelli knew the mind is ruled by unease. When you touch a nerve she didn't know was visible, you pull her into vulnerability or resistance. Next time you're with her, give her a compliment that's not obvious, something poetic, strange, or instinctive. Then stay quiet. If she leans in, intrigued, she's open. If she stiffens, jokes, or changes the subject, you've touched something fragile. Her deepest truth? It often slips out when she thinks the moment doesn't matter. So here's the fourth tactic. Ask something random and let her reveal what's on her mind. Sometimes, the truth slips out when nobody's asking for it. Imagine this. You're sitting with her, and out of nowhere you ask, "What's your favorite smell?" She pauses, laughs, maybe even says, "That's random." But what she says next? That's the key. Because the mind grabs what it values most when caught off guard. If her answer is fast and playful, she's probably emotionally open. If she stalls or flips the question back to you, she might be hiding or controlling the frame. Machiavelli understood that when people are taken out of routine, their masks slip. It's not the answer that matters, it's the reflex. People reveal themselves not when they are ready, but when they are unprepared. You want to know where she's at emotionally? Break the script. Catch her thought in mid-air. It tells you what she's focused on and what she's trying to avoid. Here's one way to apply it. Ask something unrelated to the vibe or context. Example: if you could live in any time period, which one would you pick? If she chooses something recent, she's likely future-focused. If she says something nostalgic, she may be emotionally stuck in the past. Here's your Machiavellian move. Drop a bizarre question in a quiet moment, then go completely silent. She'll fill the space with the first thing her subconscious is holding. Attraction is a dance, and the moment you break the rhythm, her true nature comes out. The fifth tactic? Do something unexpected, and see if she scrambles for control. Nothing reveals a woman's power dynamic faster than disrupting her rhythm. Picture this. You're texting back and forth. She's leading the conversation. You suddenly go cold for a few hours. When you return, you change the subject. Watch what happens. If she calmly adapts, she's secure. If she tries to pull you back on script, asks, "Where were you?" or gets passive-aggressive, it means she was managing the tempo and lost control. The one who controls the rhythm controls the frame. Observation of power. Women who crave control hate unpredictability, but the woman who's drawn to strength will lean in. Here's a tactical application. Next time you meet, shift the vibe. If she expects compliments, give mystery. If she expects a plan, offer options. If she expects a deep convo, keep it light. Then watch. Does she relax into your frame? Or does she tense up, trying to regain control? What Machiavelli would do? He'd introduce friction not to test her mood, but to test her flexibility. Because real power isn't in keeping things smooth. It's in watching who adapts when they're not in charge. Power isn't always in your words. Sometimes it's in how slow you speak and how she reacts. This is your sixth tactic. Change your pace and read her discomfort. The fastest way to read a woman's emotional security? Change the pace. Let's say you're on a date. Everything's flowing fast. You drop your tone, lower your volume, slow your tempo. Suddenly, there's tension. Not sexual tension, psychological tension. Now watch. Does she lean in, captivated? Or does she fidget, interrupt, fill the silence? Silence reveals what words can't. Machiavellian law of presence. Most women are used to men performing, but when you slow down, you project calm dominance, and insecure women can't stand that stillness, because it shines a light on their internal chaos. Next time you speak, pause mid-sentence. Hold eye contact. Say less, but mean more. Watch her body language. Does she sit with you in the silence? Or does she break it with nervous laughter or chatter? Machiavelli would remind you, you don't dominate a room by raising your voice. You do it by making others lower theirs. Now comes the shift, when you remove all expectation and watch what's left of her behavior. The seventh tactic cuts deep. Tell her you don't need anything, and study her face. Power isn't always loud. Sometimes it shows in what you don't ask for. Picture this. You're on a date. The energy is good, the vibe is relaxed, but suddenly, without warning, you look her in the eyes and say, "You're cool, but I don't need anything from you." No smile, no joke, just truth. If she flinches, if she gets defensive, if she suddenly asks, "What do you mean?" You've just shattered her usual leverage, because most men orbit around her attention. You don't. You're not there to impress. You're not desperate to be chosen. You're centered, stable, rooted in something deeper. Machiavelli knew, the man who is not afraid to walk away always negotiates from strength. And in relationships, every moment is a silent negotiation. The one who needs less controls more. For example, when a woman sees you don't need her to laugh at your jokes, validate your opinions, or confirm your worth, she starts projecting that value onto you. You're no longer a man seeking approval. You're a man who already has it, from himself. Here's a shift you can use today. Instead of trying to win her over, try this mindset. I like her, but I can walk away at any moment and still feel full. Practice this until it's real, and she'll feel it before you even speak. Because when you don't need anything from her, you become the one thing she craves, a man she can't control. And finally, there's one last mirror you can hold up to her mind by simply describing your standard. The eighth and final tactic: define the woman you admire and see if she rises or resists. Imagine this. You're in conversation with a woman, and out of nowhere, you say something like, "I admire women who move with grace, who don't need to be loud to be powerful, who choose depth over drama." You're not talking about her directly, but you are indirectly. This is what we call a mirror test, because when you describe your ideal without pressure, without asking her to become it, she automatically measures herself against it. If she's the right woman, she'll lean in, she'll align, she'll even upgrade herself silently to meet that standard. But if she's insecure, manipulative, or wearing a mask, she'll push back, she'll roll her eyes, she'll joke it off, she'll call you judgmental. Machiavelli once said, "The wise man lets others reveal themselves by speaking only of his standards." Because in the presence of clarity, masks fall fast. For example, say this to a woman you're dating: "I value honesty, even when it's not pretty, even when it's uncomfortable." Then say nothing. Watch her body language. Watch her eyes. You've just drawn a line, not to test her, but to show her what world she's walking into. Here's a strategy that sharpens your frame. Stop asking what she brings. Start stating what you value, not in an arrogant way, in a quiet, grounded way. And then pay attention. Does she rise? Or does she retreat? Because how a woman responds to your standards tells you everything about who she really is, not the version she wants you to see. And that's not judgment. That's vision. You've made it to the end. And now something in you has shifted. Because this wasn't just a video. It was a map. A way to finally see beneath the surface. To stop guessing. To stop reacting. And to start understanding. You no longer need to ask what she feels. You can see it. In her silence. In her timing. In the way she shifts when you slow down the game. This is how power begins. Quiet. Precise. Controlled. And Machiavelli would tell you, the man who reads first, rules first. From now on, you're no longer at the mercy of her moods. You're the one setting the tone. Not with force, but with awareness. Not with words, but with presence. So take this with you. You don't need to be louder, richer, or faster. You need to be still, to be sharp, to be unshakable. Because a man who sees everything can't be played by anything. And from here, you walk through life with your eyes wide open. Let her wonder how you always knew. Let them all wonder. If this opened your eyes and you're serious about becoming the man who's in full control of his life, my book is now available. The Undeniable Man, Built to be Chosen. It's a strategic guide for men who want to attract, lead, and dominate in their love life and beyond. Whether you're single or in a relationship, no fluff, no tricks, just pure, powerful strategy that will set you apart from 99% of men, and that you will actually use every day. The link is in the description. And if this video spoke to you, don't just keep your thoughts in your head. Write a comment, even just a few words. It helps you remember these lessons, and it might help someone else too. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this content, and share it with someone who, in your eyes, needs it right now. Just trust your instinct. We're all trying to get clearer, more solid inside. So let's build minds that don't break.